about that long reprieve. I know it's late, but me probably late night owls too sometimes. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get back into what I was talking about. So I believe I left off just detailing some of the harassment we've been experiencing in our rental home, and address that. I reacted to all the BS that's been going on. Again, don't feel bad about it. I'm just glad that I got it off my chest and that it needed to be said. Um, I believe I had just started talking about the DOJ civil rights complaint that I placed. And like I said, I've noticed the influx of this behavior. Um, I believe it's probably something retaliatory in addition to what I'm already experiencing with the gang stalking. So, excuse me. All I'm going to say about that is that I'm still waiting to hear anything back, if I hear anything at all, from what I understand about the situation, or about the complaint, is that they have to do an investigation and all that. And that might be what's taking place right now. Maybe the respective law enforcement offices that are local, maybe they're being investigated. And maybe that's why, they're using these folks to attack me more because they can't themselves right now. Maybe. I don't know. That's speculation. But regardless, it's unacceptable. And I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to take this sitting down anymore. Like, me starting my channel was my small way of trying to get exposure on this particular situation or on this type of targeting that people experience. And I do recognize wholly that it is spiritual. However, since we're still here on the physical realm, we still have to do things by their laws and their, set principles and all that. And originally, I wasn't interested in any of that because I was just like, oh, eventually this stuff will blow over. You know, it was just a neighbor with a grudge, blah blah blah. But no, it's turned into something much more, and especially after I've been able to formally um, gain the knowledge that I need to equip myself with the proper tools to be able to recognize exactly what this stuff is, because I wasn't aware that something like this was even happening. And it's not that whole like ignorance is bliss, like, oh, nothing bad never happens to me. But no, I've had bad things happen in my life, but I never looked at it as like, oh, intentional, until I continually would experience the same, patterns. And that's exactly what's been being recreated here in Arizona. The mere fact that, hi, the mere fact that a lot of the tactics that are being used are the same tactics that were being used in San Diego. However, I do feel like it's increased a lot more as far as like the electronic tampering. I was experiencing that there as well, but I feel like it's like on 100 out here. And that might be due in part to the fact that Arizona is actually, which I wasn't aware of, but Arizona actually is a state that has a lot of surveillance. And I find that to be a bit odd, um, considering the fact that, it's the desert, you know? I would expect this level of surveillance in San Diego in California, but the area that I was in, it was not like that at all. You rarely saw police around at all. Whereas here, I don't really see police or anything like that either, but there's like hella cameras everywhere. And I was like, either there's a lot of crime here that I'm missing, or there's something more going on out here than, we might recognize. So I'm just, excuse me, I'm just really trying to, oh, wait a minute, that we have for review. What's going on here? Oh, so what I'm trying to what I'm trying to express is the fact that a lot of these playbook, as the people I was dealing with in San Diego, or it's literally all the same program. And there are things like this that exist. I'm not going to get too specific on here because I can't go there on YouTube, and I know that. But it is something I know. I'm sorry about the connection. This has been all day for me. I am very sorry. I'm doing my best to get this message out the best way I can. But yeah, so a lot of the stuff I'm experiencing is very similar. A lot of same tactics. Like I said, um, being ran off the road, or attempted, like people trying to run me off the road, stuff like that. And just being harassed, all in all. So it's like, as a regular citizen, most people be like, oh, we'll just go to the police. But it's like, yeah, but how can you go to the police if they're in on? Because like I stated, there's officers in my neighborhood, like that live in my neighborhood and live in my development. They know very well what's going on, I'm sure. Just because a lot of the people that I'm surrounded by are like retirees, like heavy on the military, like retirees, a lot of elderly, um, a lot of military in general. Because again, I wasn't aware that there was such a strong military presence in this particular town. But it's not even so much that it's not even so much that that's an issue. It's just the fact that what I've been researching, it's all interconnected with those respective groups of individuals, and that they are incentivized to do what they're doing, to target individuals and to basically to get them to lose their cool, but in a sense where they'll do something dire, you know, if you will. But I'm not a person that is on that level. And again, my reaction today was in par with my personality. Like, yeah, I'm not the type to run out and try to hurt people and stuff like that, but I will cuss you out. Like, if I need to. Like, I'm not on some, go shoot up stuff. Like, that's not me. That's not me at all. And I get the feeling that that's the whole intention, is to try to paint me. I about to say I can't. So I'm not sure if you guys are still there or not. And then also with YouTube, for whatever reason, every time I do a live, I never get a good like view of how many people are actually viewing. But I do see from the few comments that have popped up. I'm not sure if someone's being rude or nasty in the comments, but if I do have a moderator present, please take care of that because I can't see anything. Um, or if there's anybody in the comments that's like trying to be facetious and making it seem like, they're in support when they're actually hating, please remove yourself because clearly this ain't for you. But back to it. The whole goal is to continue to expose, be able to organize some type of through my element, and the respective individuals in question um, that are involved clearly are following some type of plan. And I get it. I'm aware that not everyone is involved. I know this. However, in my particular situation, I have proof of multiple individuals either tampering with stuff or saying phrases or things that I've said in phone calls in the privacy of my own home, or phone or discussions that I'm having with my family in my house. So everyone, but there are some people that are okay, willing participants of whatever you want to call this. Okay. So the biggest thing, like I said, is to make sure that we bring exposure to it, and to ultimately we need to unify. Like, we, the same way all these other individuals are grouping up and sticking together, we need to do the same. Like, if we all really would have each other's back instead of just getting on here and having each of us having our, sob story, so to speak, like, when are we going to get tired enough to just like come together to do something about it? And I'm not just saying that just because it's me in the hot seat right now in this particular moment. I'm saying that in general. I literally have been working on content that's going to be promoting the same, and I've been feeling this way for quite some time. I've been slowly but surely doing my best to reach out more to other individuals in the community. So to hopefully kind of extend the olive leaf or olive branch or whatever, so to speak, to just get my foot in the door with them, and so that we can start to try to build relationships with one another, because I recognize that it's hard to know who to trust and who's really real and who's really being targeted and who's really not. Like, in my case, I know that I am. Like, I have no, excuse me, I have no ifs, ands, and buts about that. My family knows that we're being targeted. Like, it's not just me that lives here. So, and some of the things have, taken place in front of my children, in front of my husband, and so on. So I'm not, I don't have to make anything up. I'm not here looking for sympathy. I just want for something to get done. I want for us to be able to unify ultimately, so that we can get organized and that we can stand together as a united front, as individuals who are just sick and tired of being targeted for whatever weird, sick reason these people are being used to target us. It doesn't matter. The reason honestly doesn't matter. And I know even I have racked my brain trying to figure it out. And I do believe I have a better grasp of why that is now. But even still, it's insignificant. It doesn't matter if I know the why or not, because it's regardless if I know the why, it's still happening. So the end game is to, ultimately, you know, like I said, have a support system so that we can all lean on each other more. That's what I'm working towards, is trying to also make myself available as a safe space for our community, so that, we can lean on each other. And, maybe even I can come out and support other individuals in the community who might need like a show of force to people in their community, like, hey, yeah, you picked on the wrong one, they're not alone. And that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like when it comes to this particular community, which I know I haven't belonged to for long, but I feel like when it comes to this community, that it's like, I see everyone telling their stories and sharing their examples of what they're experiencing and so on and so forth. But I still have not seen anything anywhere where it's like, hey, we all are, like coming together or meeting up, which again, I know is a stretch. I get it. Because that trust factor is a big deal. And no one wants to end up in a worse situation with that than they need to. And I get that, because I feel the same. But at this point, it's like I have to take some form of a risk. I'm gonna have to put myself out there in order to get any type of or get any closer to really being able to form bonds with people who are going through the same, and who also would like support. Because No one should have to do this stuff alone. Like, I think that's why some people end up succumbing to this type of targeting and this level of targeting, because they don't have anyone to turn to. They can't, go to law enforcement. They can't go. They can't go to the, uh, you know, psychologist or psychiatrist. They can't families, because most of the time people just tell them, oh, you're crazy, oh, that didn't really happen, oh, you're overthinking it, oh. And it's like, when people aren't experiencing what you're experiencing, they are quick to dismiss what you are going through. They're quick to dismiss your reality. But as soon as it becomes them, they expect you to 100% just drop what you're doing and help them with whatever they're going through. And I'm trying not to be like that, because at the end of the day, I've been saying and feeling this way long before this stuff ramped up. I've been experiencing this for a while, and that is what encouraged me to start my channel, was this type of gang stalking, if you will. So for me, um, I've been on this, I've been feeling this way for a while, and I really just didn't know how to go about. I really didn't know how to go about connecting, in a way that's safe, in a way that we don't compromise each other. Because again, like I said, with me experiencing electronic tampering, that's been one of my biggest concerns lately with trying to further build upon what I have established on my channel, is making sure um that if I do start like some type of outreach program or chat or whatever, that the individuals who are, feel comfortable enough to do that, that their information is protected and safeguarded and all that. So that's very important to me, because I don't want to compromise anyone else, or I don't want to, make someone a target by proxy just because they're dealing with me. And I know that's what makes it um even more like difficult to do this. But I feel like it's something we have to at this point. Like, we're just gonna have to take a risk as a collective and just come together. um However we can do that. And that's why I was asking about, doing the walk through my neighborhood, because it got me thinking about the young man in Florida who was experiencing harassment for, seemingly walking through his neighborhood. I think that was last year, at the end of last year, and that community came together and organized a walkthrough for his neighborhood, just to show that neighborhood, like, yeah, he's, a person, and he lives here, and he can walk through his neighborhood. With he should be able to walk through his neighborhood without being harassed. He shouldn't have to worry about um being hounded by, multiple different individuals for simply walking, or whatever that, issue was. I don't remember all of the details outside of, that he was just simply trying to walk through the neighborhood. I believe it was a component about him, what was it, talking to one of the men's wives or something, allegedly. But that's what I say, I don't even remember if that was even found to be true or not, or what have you. Because again, like, people lie, people do things that aren't always right, and try to play it off like they didn't do nothing at all. Like me tonight, I I was on one, and I'm still on one. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't miss no words with anything that I said. My words can cut like a knife, and that's why a lot of times I try to keep my mouth tame. But once I let this thing go, ain't no stopping it. And that's how I've been feeling lately. Like, I'm not gonna continue to sit here and sit on my hands and, oh, kumbaya, and, oh Lord, it'll get better. Oh Lord, days will get easier. No, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm willing to stand up and do something about it. Even on my own. Like, this is my first time as the lone wolf type asking for help, because that's not something I usually do. I don't usually ask people for help, especially complete strangers. So I get it if, y'all feel like, oh, well, she ain't been committed long enough, or she ain't, you know she's not, worth going out and doing all that. I get it. But like I said, if we can't at least do that, I would appreciate just y'all sharing these videos, sharing my story, sharing my channel, sharing other target individuals' channels, so that, or if you are a person that is into those things, and please just get people's messages out there, because this stuff is really ramping up and it's really getting real serious. And I don't know what is ultimately going to happen. I feel that I have a suspicion of what might happen, but of course, as we know, everything, or things can change at any moment's notice. But I'm ready to protect myself. I'm ready to protect my family. That I will always be ready to do. And I'm not going to shy away from that, and this has been an experience. It has been a week, if I'm being completely honest. I definitely didn't see my week ending this way. I didn't see it starting this way either. Because, like I said, it literally started with a lot of BS this week and it's ending with some BS. But you know what? It's going to be okay, because I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and it's gonna be a new day, and I get to try it all over again. And even if any more BS happens, I'll address it if I need to address it. I'll let it go if I need to let it go, and I'll just go on about my day. But one thing I'm not gonna do is be punked. I'm not gonna be played. I'm not gonna sit here and let people play in my face and act like they like me and all this other BS when I know that they don't. I'm not gonna let nobody sit here and try to mince my words or misconstrue what I say, because at the end of the day, I am a truth teller as well as a truth seeker. I don't have a problem even telling on myself. I don't have a problem doing that because my ego is not tied in it. I have no ego when it comes to that. There are things that I have been, keeping under wraps for a reason that I just can't divulge at this time, because again, it's methods to my madness. That's the best way I can put it. And some of this stuff is not gonna come out until it's ready to come out. But it's important for me to continue to speak my piece, even tonight with all of the tampering and whatnot. Like I said, I'll be here all night if I have to, because I need to get this out. And I'm sorry, for the excessive lives. I'm sorry for the excessive shorts. That's not how I usually do things. That's not how I want to do things. But that's all that I was able to do originally. Because I don't know when it'll go down again. I don't know when my phone will stop charging, because like I'm saying, I've been dealing with a lot of that stuff going on with my phone this week alone, not wanting or not charging and stuff like that. And I mean, yes, it is an older phone. However, what I'm talking about is like in my room, plugs aren't charging, but then when I go to like a different room in the house, it charges. And I know that could be like, oh, that's an electrical thing. But I'm like, no, like I literally was charging my phone in the same port earlier, no problem at all. And then as soon as I noticed my phone battery draining, which again was odd because my phone was at like 99% when I started the lives originally, and then within that brief time had dropped down to like 20%. And I'm like, yeah, it's like heavily draining something's heavily draining my batteries. And then, on top of it, trying not to charge, so I had to literally go out of my room to be able to charge my phone. So that's what I'm saying, like that's like my second or third time experiencing that this week, whereas normally I don't have any issues charging my phone. There's been nights this week that I've plugged my phone up to charge overnight, completely plugged in everything, and then wake up in the morning and it's not charged. And I'm like, okay. And that's why I'm checking my cords, checking all that, and the cords are fine. Everything's fine. The outlet's working. So it's like, what do you call that? Like, I don't like again, I've never experienced anything like that before. So I just I just want peace. I just want to be able to continue to live in peace. I just want to be able to take care of my family and, make my content and mind my P's and Q's and go back to just positive everything because that's what I desire most. And all of this, microaggression, like I don't do well with stuff like that. If my thing is at this point, like, if, like I said, if people wanna take me up out of this place, then nothing. I'm not I'm not afraid of that. And it's like I can't believe that people feel that type of way that they want to do that. But hey, that's fine. You can feel that type of way, but I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing. And I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing if they weren't doing what they were doing. Because I'm not, just trying to target innocent people. Like that's not what I'm doing. All the people I'm calling out are people that I've witnessed, do the shit. So it's like, and that's why I said earlier, like if there isn't one that caught astray from me, I apologize. Like it's really that simple for me because I don't I that's what the whole part of this is about, is to make people feel like it's everyone that's after them, excuse me, but I know that it's not. I know that it's not. And I know not, everybody is a jerk like these people are jerks. I know that. That's why what I told you guys in my IKEA video is exactly what I meant. I've been trying to do a better job of not being so guarded, where I'm just completely, again, just shielding everybody out. But stuff like this is why that's hard for me, because I am continually being mistreated. And it's like you want me to open up my wounds to get more wounds. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. And having people wanting to, infringe on my space, it's like, why? You have your respective space, we have ours. Why is that so hard to do? Um and I recognize, I'm like, well, it has to be that I'm a black woman. And the only reason I say is because I'm the only black woman on the block. I don't see any other neighbors experiencing this type of behavior. I mean, then again, I'm not out there enough to know, but I'm just saying, like, it's fairly seems like when I do leave my home that everyone else is getting along just fine. But anytime I pop out, then it's like everyone comes out of nowhere and is watching me and surveilling me and watching me and my kids. And I'm like, guys, there's so much stuff I still haven't even been able to get to on my channel, because even actively, there's still more stuff happening actively. But like I said, I've been trying to refocus myself and not fixate so much on it. And that's why I know it can seem like, oh, she's going off about trash. Oh, like, no, it's more than that. It's been way more than that. I got people cutting open my packages. Um, you know, Another like tactic is like when they um, have your immediate like neighbors and stuff use their cameras to watch you, and when you're coming in and out of your home, people honking their car horns every time I come out of my home or leave my house. And it's like, what, like, why are we doing this? And I know to someone else they'd be like, oh, no, it's nothing. That I'm like, but every time I leave my home, every time, right? And it's not even that it bothers me on the level like, oh, that's so annoying. Like, no, it's just like, it's weird. Like, it's who needs to honk their car horn that many times throughout the day? Like, I'm telling you, like, you guys, if you're not living the experience, it's not gonna make sense to you. You're gonna think I'm overreacting. You're gonna think I'm making some of this stuff up. I promise you, I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not that desperate for attention. Like, trust me, this is not that. I promise you. And the only reason I'm asking to make it go viral is, like I said, that could be a way to share and bring awareness. and maybe get in the hands of the right people who can help me do something about it, like lawyers and maybe even private investigators who aren't a part of, this type of stuff, and who actually stand up for the little guy, and like this, because this is it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. As a regular citizen, it's like, what are your options? Like, I'm not a criminal. I don't know what other things to do other than what I'm doing. I'm speaking up. I'm being and I'm also doing my best to be an advocate. Um and I've had people requesting to want to speak to me about their various issues, and I do want to um form some form of community where they can have access to me. But stuff like this is what makes that hard for me. Stuff like this, what I'm experiencing right now, is why that's being such a challenge for me to get it off the ground, because it's such heavy attacks right now that I'm dealing with, especially with my electronics. And I know that's primarily because that's what I solely use throughout the day. Now, what's interesting is, outside of myself, I'd say the only other person I notice experiencing tampering to a smaller degree would be my husband with his phone. Excuse me, because even today alone, there were numerous occasions where we're speaking on the phone and the call just completely drops or cuts out, and he nor I ended the call, nothing, even though we were talking together clear as day just fine, but it's just dropping out of nowhere. Even though we both got full bars, all that stuff. So it's like, trust me, the stuff, it's annoying. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just annoying, and just want it to stop. Like, it's enough already. But I get it. Like, I'm doing my best to stay calm and stay positive throughout all of this, but it's annoying. It's really annoying. And then, I don't, like I said, in this moment, I don't feel powerless. I feel empowered. If anything, I feel like this gives me more energy to really just double down on making sure that I do all that I can to bring exposure to all of this stuff, to expose this, neighborhood, since they have aligned themselves to do these types of things. Um, or especially on my block, I shall say, because again, I don't believe that it's the whole entire neighborhood and the whole entire developments out here, but I know for sure on my block, the vast majority of these individuals are monitoring my family and I and our goings and comings. They literally have light codes that they be flickering their lights off to each other. They have, like I said, they use their car horns to honk to each other and communicate. And guys, the reason I know this is because this is the same stuff I was experiencing when I was in San Diego. It's exactly the same playbook. So either I'm dealing with the same model of stalking, or these criminals are just getting more organized and they're all working together, from state to state. Because what are the odds in that? And it's sad to say that I recognize that this will continue to happen no matter where I go. As long as I'm still on this plane, it's going to continue to happen. As long as we all are still here, it's going to continue to happen. And I recognize that. But I at least would hope that if no one else wants to come to our aid and our defense, that we would come to each other's aid, or we would learn to be each other's respite during all of this, where we can have a collective community where we can continually uplift and support one another, and even possibly show up for one another, and or try to do more positive things with one another. Because that's one thing I do have to give these individuals credit for, which will probably be the only thing. But like I said, they know how to organize. That's one thing I can say. I just hate that it's not being used for something positive. But I have to give them their credit on that. They know how to get people together and get them mobilized and get them moving. And you know, just I'm just feeling like this is the time. This is the time for us to finally do this. Let us stop talking about it in 2025. Let us just do it. I'm going to lead the way. I'm not just going to be on here talking. Reach out to another fellow TI that I am aware of who doesn't necessarily live in my area, but I know that they live in the state and they too are a YouTuber. You all may have heard of him, Trend Genius. I used to watch him like sometime last year because it was actually I believe his channel where I got introduced to more stuff about gang stalking. I was already educating myself, but his channel was more so geared towards like chosen ones, but still I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. And I know that he lives in the state, and I just, if I could shoot, just reach out and pick his brain, or any other individuals that I've watched in the past or that I continually watch right now on YouTube. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to give that olive branch, and I'm going to see what we can do, like how we can show up for each other, because like I said, what I'm experiencing isn't just me, it's my family as well, but it's primarily, from what I've noticed, aimed at me. So clearly whomever is in control of whatever this is has a grievance with me. But my whole thing is like, if you haven't brought it to me, then baby, you're beefing by yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't say nothing, then how can you know? Kind of like with this afternoon, a lot of these people, may have been weirded out, like, wait, why is she just out there yelling and screaming and but that was me saying something, and I made it loud and I made it known, like, hey, if you want to come, here I am. Like, I'm not hiding, I'm not going nowhere. Like, what's good? Like, that's how I feel. And yeah, and like I said, I was calling them out, and I was, speaking a lot of truths about the disparities that people or in the, black community respectively have endured and gone through for over 400 something years. And it's like, baby, like, we tired of the BS. Like, just leave us alone. Like, I don't understand these people's weird ass obsession with us. It's weird. It's that whole, it's, I swear, it's like being in a toxic ass relationship with this place. It's like people don't want us around, but they don't want us to leave either. And it's like, I don't, because that's what I was telling my husband earlier. I was like, I know if we move to another area, it's going to be the same. Like when we moved from San Diego, I had no reservations that I wouldn't probably start experiencing the same thing again out here. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So I feel the same way. If we move somewhere else, it's going to be the same things, just new people, new players. And I'm like, for that, I might as well just stay where I'm at. But at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to fight back in my own way, to continue to bring heat on these people's head, because I'm not going to take this stuff laying down. And I don't want any of us to take this stuff laying down. We shouldn't have to. All that, oh, just don't talk about it. Just keep your head down. Just ignore it. No. It shouldn't be ignored. This is terrible behavior. This is terrible human behavior. Like, this is not how people are supposed to treat people. And even if you have an issue with somebody, you can address it, or you can get legal counsel to address it for you. Like, it ain't got to be all this. It really doesn't. But it's like, what else can you do when people are behaving, I would say, like children, but worse than children, honestly, in my opinion. And like I said, recognizing that I'm in a certain territory of certain supporters of a certain, administration, I'm like, baby, like, what? I don't understand. What do I got to do with any of that? Yeah, I got my opinions about that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, I can say what I want. This is America. My rights are protected to be able to speak my freedom of speech. No different than anybody else. So it's like, if people want to be offended, they can be offended. I don't care. That still doesn't give you the right to go and violate someone else's rights. Like that's what I'm saying. These people are criminally breaking the law. Supposed to feel sorry and bad for them. Like I don't. And I never will. It's stupidity. It's stupidity. And my whole thing is like this stuff, it's not cool. And like, when my husband gets here tomorrow, we're going to pick up and we're going to continue on with our day and our lives. And we're just going to continue to combat all of this BS that's been coming our way. Um, I don't know, like, cause I'm at the point where I'm like, no, I'm just ready to make something shake at this point. Like I'm not, I don't want to talk. That's how I feel. I don't want to talk. I just want to make something shake. I want something to happen. Um, and that's why I'm trying to be the change I want to see in the world. I really am trying hard instead of, reacting to this stuff on a daily basis like how I once was when it all started happening. I've been taking all of this BS energy and transmuting it into something positive. Earlier this week, my son and we've been drawing like on our brick wall, and I actually drew like some protection sigils out there. And I'm sure, you know, uh, it probably might look a certain way to certain people, but it's like, yeah, but my thing is it's not for them, it's for me and my family. It's just more protections for us. And as you see, we're all still here, we're untouched. That's what I said, all the stuff that they're doing is just to get under my skin. And they did that today. So it's like, okay, good. What y'all want? A cookie? Like, what is y'all, what is, it's like, what is the end game here? What is the end game? How long can they truly keep this going? Because on most days I'm good. And like I said, even today was a great day for me. I had a phenomenal day. I got stuff done, you know, and I think just what I've come to realize, especially as a black, so-called black woman, is that, people just don't like to see us happy. They don't like to see us relaxing. They don't like to see us not scrimping and trying to survive and, stressed out. They don't like to see us, or excuse me, that's how they like to see us, is stressed out and, you know, busting our hump and all this stuff. But when it comes to us being at peace, us being in relaxation mode, us being protected, being loved, they don't like to see that. And that's what I know to be true because like I said, this has been the same experience no matter where I go, no matter what I do. And it's like, yeah, I'm not like anyone else. I can't go home and take this meat suit off. Like this is who I am. When I talk about, being who I am and being a individual that I know I'm not ugly, there ain't no conceited stuff. I ain't ugly. And I just seem to garner attention. I'm not trying to. In most cases, I'm simply just being myself. But that's why I even had to call that out because I'm like, the links that some of these individuals are going to try to get my attention is it's weird. I'm not used to this. Like it's really weird to me. And I'm ready to be united with my true tribe, with people of like minds, with and I'm tired because they stupid, they dumb. Like I'm sorry, because ain't nobody with no common sense doing all that. Ain't nobody with that's somebody. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you're truly being loved, right, and broke off properly here and there. Like, ain't nobody doing all that. That's weird. And if it makes me because I'm calling it out, then baby, I'll be the weird one then. That's fine. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm rocking with it, right? Honestly. But I think this the longest I've been able to talk tonight. I guess, I can't see any active comments or anything in the moment. So if you guys are saying thing, I'm sorry. But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, please just if we can't do anything else, if we can't organize the walk through my neighborhood, if we can't, come together, let's just please share my content at the very least. If you can't do any of the following before that, I'll much appreciate it. And I'm hopeful that it'll get to the right hands and that the right people will try their best to reach out to me. Like I said, whether it be lawyers, attorneys, civil rights activists, um, anything of that nature to help me be able to better equip myself and for myself, but because I'm not a selfish person, has a right to live in peace. Sorry, I'm just noticing something strange with my live. It literally said I was at 50 minutes and now I just jumped to 14. So I don't know if that just erased everything that I just said or what, but I'm not finna. I'm not going to rehash everything or if this is even on, who knows. But if you are someone that heard all of my shorts or my live from earlier, the saying goes, please just share. If you can't do anything else, share it, like it, make it viral, please, so that I get more attention on this, especially down here, because it's bad. It's really bad out here. Um, to a level where I never could have been prepared for the level of involvement and how many individuals are just willing to just do what they're doing. It's really sad. But yeah, if by chance that this live did get reset or something like that, and everything I said previously, just check out the previous lives. I know they might be a little spotty, but I did my best to detail what I was talking about, especially in regards to the DOJ civil rights complaint that I filed. So there's that. But thank you again for listening and tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and turn in, but till next time, see you.